Hey guys, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto X Darkness Konosuba? If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. The blonde-haired explosive artist, Deidara, woke up and was sitting on a chair. He saw that he was in a dark but bright room and the floor was black and white. He died again after the Edo Tensei was released. He was in his usual Akatsuki cloak. What is this place? I know I died unless this is where we go when we die. Deidara said. I didn't think I'd be stuck with you, brat. A familiar emotionless voice said. He turned and saw Sasori next to him. He had red short hair and still looked young. He was also in his Akatsuki cloak. Sasori? Why are you here? He asked. I can answer that. A female kind voice replied. They turned in front of them and saw a girl with long silver hair, covered in a purple dress. I am the goddess, Eris, and this is the afterlife. She said. Goddess? Wait, don't tell me that Jashin crap Hedon's been spatting about is actually real? Deidara said with annoyance. Eris shivered after hearing that name. Please don't mention that god. I still get nightmares from it. She said in a frightened tone. How come we weren't brought here last time? I recall dying more than once. Sasori asked. It's because of that jutsu that prevented souls from reaching the afterlife. Eris answered sadly. She had been familiar of the shinobi world and its jutsus. She could not understand why the second Hokage would create something that would make the dead fight against their will. Now, I looked through both of your lives and you've committed terrible crimes. Eris stated. Deidara, your crimes are the bombing of many villages and the deaths of many people. She said. That is my art. I have to show the world that my explosion is art. Deidara responded proudly. Except that's not art, art is. Sasori argued but was cut off by Eris. Sasori, your crimes are killing people and making them into puppets and brainwashing. And finally, though you two weren't aware of it, but you were both working for a group that was plotting to destroy the world. She stated. Wait, that's what we've been doing? Deidara asked. I was wondering why we were after the tailed beasts. Sasori murmured. So what? Are you going to be sending us to hell or something? Deidara asked. Normally, you would due to your actions, but that's not why you're here. Eris answered. Then why are we here? Sasori asked. How would you two like a second chance? A chance to redeem yourselves. However, there is something you must do. She suggested kindly. What are you wanting us to do? Sasori asked. In another world, the Demon King's army has been terrorizing the lives of citizens. Everyone lives in fear of the Demon King's army as they pillage and slaughter. People have refused to be reborn in that world, and so the population has been declining. We've been sending people who died from other worlds into that world along with their bodies and memories intact. Eris explained. Wouldn't you be sending them to their deaths if they're that powerful? Sasori asked. We don't send them with nothing. We've given them one gift before they leave. It could be any item of your choosing. For example, a powerful sword or one of those kekkei genkei things some of you shinobi have. She answered. So we get one choosing of any item? Deidara asked. Correct, but that is only if you accept going to this world. Eris answered. Then I'll do it. I'll show this Demon King that he's no match for my art. He grinned. Sasori rolled his eyes in response. I'll go as well. This brat might either do something stupid or die young again if I leave him on his own. Sasori said. Don't treat me like a kid. He replied. Then, it is decided. Eris smiled. Now what item would you want? Before I decide, is the language in that world different from ours? Sasori asked. Yes, but that will be transferred to your minds as well as the reading and writing. But there's a small chance that something unfortunate can happen. But I'm sure you two can handle it. Eris said uncomfortably at the end. They didn't really like that answer. What do you mean something unfortunate can happen? Sasori asked. The brain may go poof for some people on the knowledge. But like I said, I'm sure you can take it. Eris assured nervously. The two wanted to press further on it but decided to leave it at that. The two thought for a moment of what item they want. Sasori was the first to answer. Could I get the third cage puppet? It's a favorite. Sasori requested. I don't like you using people's bodies into puppets, but I suppose I'll allow it this once. She answered in disapproval. The puppet was summoned and Sasori put it in one of his scrolls. Eris turned to Deidara. Have you decided what you want? She asked. He thought for a moment then answered. Is there a way not to run out of clay? Deidara asked. Yes, it is called unlimited clay. You make it into explosives, correct? Aris answered. I'll take that then. At least I won't have to worry about finding more clay. He said. A bag full of clay was summoned. Didera looked inside it and picked it up. He had it strapped around him. More clay will be created with the bag's magic as you use it. She explained. I'm surprised you would ask that. It's kind of an eternal item. The red-haired said. It is not eternal, Sasori. The clay inside it gets replaced with other clay as I use my art. And I can later use more of it as more clay gets created. Besides, my chakra is still limited, so I can't use it forever. Didera explained. There's one more thing I forgot to mention. When you leave for this world, what you called chakra and abilities will change into magic instead. You will also be able to learn other magic skills while you're there. Aris explained. So in a way, magic is like chakra. Sasori concluded. She nodded. As long as I can use my art, that's fine with me. Didera said. As they finished talking, 2 circles on the floor beneath them appeared and surrounded by a barrier. What's going on? What's happening? The blonde exclaimed, looking around. Sasori already figured it out as he was silent. The 2 began to ascend. Didera, Sasori, I wish you luck in defeating the Demon King and redeeming yourselves. And should you succeed, you'll be granted with any wish of your choosing as a reward. Aris said sweetly. Nice. I know what I'll wish for. Didera said excitedly. And something tells me I won't like it. Sasori groaned. Good luck on your journey. She finished as the 2 transported to the fantasy world and their adventure in destroying the Demon King begins. Didera and Sasori appeared at a town after they've been teleported here. A carriage passed by as they stood there and looked at their surroundings in the town. So this is the new world she sent us. Sasori said. These people sure don't look terrified. Didera commented. That's because we don't know where we are yet. We need information first. Let's ask around, he said. Later, after gathering intel from a few civilians, they found out that they were in the beginner's town called Axel. It was the town furthest away from the Demon King's castle. They also found out about the Adventurers Guild, where they could take jobs that involved killing monsters, searching for a certain item, or many more. The 2 Akatsuki members decided that it was their best place to start since it was similar to shinobi work. They eventually found the building and stepped inside. There was a crowd of people enjoying their food and drinks. Welcome, if you're here to eat, please take a seat. And if you're here for a job, head to that counter over there. The waitress said happily as she holds 4 drinks. I sure could have something to eat. Didera suggested. Let's apply into the Adventurers Guild first, brat. Sasori said. Fine, he sighed. Haven't seen you 2 around here before, and what's with those weird get-ups? A man with a mohawk asked. We've come here to become adventurers and destroy the Demon King. Sasori answered. He'll soon witness what our art can do. Didera added. Is that so? In that case, welcome to the gates of hell. He said. The 2 head for the guild counter. Behind the counter there was a blonde young woman standing there as the receptionist. Welcome, how can I help you today? She asked. We're here to join the Adventurers Guild. Sasori said. Alright then, first you'll need to pay for the registration fee. She said. That was the problem for them. They had no money. Wait, you mean we have to pay to get in? Didera asked. Sorry, but those are the rules. The receptionist apologized. Didera turned to his partner. So what now, Sasori? He asked. I'll think of something quick. Sasori stated as he started to somewhat understand one reason why Kakuzu was so obsessed with money. You 2 are having trouble in registering? A male voice asked. They turned and saw a tall, muscular, dark-skinned man approaching them. And what if we are? Sasori asked. I can help pay for the fee. But you'll have to do some work for me until the amount of Aris is paid. He said. What would you have us do? Sasori asked before considering. We need some more men for construction on the walls. I hired 2 kids not too long ago, but they hardly got anything done. You 2 look capable. Would you care to lend us a hand? The man explained. Sasori hesitated slightly at the decision, but seeing as he didn't want to wait for other options, he decided to go with his offer. Very well, we accept. Sasori replied. Excellent, glad this could work out. The man said as he handed them enough money for both them to pay the fee. When you are done here, meet me at the west side of the wall. I'll explain more there, he said as he leaves. Sasori, why did you get us in some construction job? Didera asked, annoyed. We need to get into the Adventurers Guild and a little money. It will only be temporary, brat. Deal with it and don't blow up anything you make. He told him. Sasori paid the receptionist the money he was given. Thank you, I'm Luna, welcome to the Adventures Guild, she said happily. She got the blue crystal out and placed it on the reception desk. Now, let me explain, adventurers have their own occupations. This is a registration card, Luna said as she showed the card to them. This will keep track of how many monsters you've destroyed. As your level goes up, you'll earn points that you can use to learn new skills. Please work hard to raise your level. The next thing for both of you is to please hold your hand over this crystal and it will show your status on the card. She explained. I'll go first, I hate waiting, Sasori said. He placed his hand over the crystal, then it began to light up and write on the card. When it finished, Luna picked up the card. Let's see here, Sasori. Not a name I heard of, she said as she examined the card. Wow, your strength and health are above average but all your other stats are really high. With something like this, I'd recommend being an arch-wizard, Luna said. I'll start with that, I suppose, not that I care what class one stick with as long as I can use my abilities. Sasori said. Well, you can always change jobs when you level up if you want, she said, handing him the card. I'll keep that in mind, Sasori replied in a fake smile. Alright, let's what my stats are. Deidara said as he stepped towards the crystal and put his hand over it. The crystal did the same thing as last time. Luna read the card when it finished. Deidara, is it? Let's see here. Oh, your strength is also above average and your intelligence is pretty high but your luck's below average. Other than that, your magic, health, dexterity and agility are exceptionally high. Basically, you can be in any of the advanced classes except for Crusader and Swordmaster, she explained. Which of the classes has art in it? Deidara asked. Art? I'm not sure I understand. We don't have an artist in our job list. We do have a cook job though, Luna said, confused. He's referring to explosives, Sasori said, then turned to his partner. And that's not what art is. Art is supposed to be eternal, never to fade away. You're quite wrong, Sasori my man. True art is fleeting, meant to last for mere moments, Deidara argued. If you're looking to use explosion magic, you can also be an arch-wizard but it takes a lot of magic to cast it. I wouldn't recommend using that magic normally, Luna said nervously. I'll choose arch-wizard then. It'll be perfect for me to use my art, Deidara said proudly. She sweat dropped in response. Well, okay, but keep in mind that there are other spells you can use in arch-wizard. Luna smiled, giving him the card. I look forward to seeing you two work hard and complete many quests, she said kindly. People in the guild overheard and cheered for the duo. Alright, we got two newcomers starting out as arch-wizards. These two might actually defeat the Demon King. Look at this, Sasori. We just got here and we're already famous. Deidara smirked. I'm not interested in that, he stated. We should meet up with that man who gave us money. We still need to pay him back. Yeah, Deidara muttered. The two began to head for the door and start their new life as adventurers. During the day, the Akatsuki members started their construction job. Sasori was able to manage successfully fulfilling all the tasks he was given, even made some extra money from it. Deidara on the other hand was able to do some of the work but often got in trouble because of his art. Sasori had to cover his partner's work, which annoyed him. At the end of the day, they managed to find a place to sleep. I can't believe you got us to sleep in a place like this, Deidara complained as they're in one of the house's stables. It'll only be for tonight, tomorrow we'll go on a quest suitable for us, Sasori stated. Yeah, I can't wait. This place sucks, the blonde replied. So what do you think of this new world we're in? Deidara asked. Interesting, I'd say. Though there's no shinobi or hidden villages. There's just monsters and demons we're fighting, the red-haired answered. Doesn't matter what world we're in. We'll show the world our greatest art. Deidara grinned. Remember that we're here to redeem ourselves. So make sure to point it at our enemies, Sasori told him. Oh, I will, he replied. Keep it down over there, the owner shouted. Shut up, Deidara shouted back. The two ended their day and started the next day. Deidara and Sasori started a quest that involved killing 10 giant toads. They were now at an open field where many of the toads were around the area. I wonder if any of these toads are related to the toad Sanin. At least we're not dealing with snakes, Sasori said. Alright, let's get started, Deidara said eagerly. He summoned his clay bird and got on top of it. Why don't you let me handle some of them, Sasori? he suggested. Just don't keep me waiting. Sasori replied. Deidara flew off with his bird and approached to some of the toads in the distance. Have a taste of this, Deidara said as he started by throwing some spider clay bombs at the toads from above. As soon as they touched the ground, they attached to the toads. He detonated the bombs and did some damage against the toads. He didn't kill them yet. Deidara began using some bigger explosives to finish them off. He threw down more clay bombs that are a little larger. True art. He triggered the explosives and some big blasts occurred, killing the toads. Is an explosion, Deidara finished. He then flew off to find more toads. As Sasori was watching the bomber fly off, 2 toads were approaching the red-haired. He turned and faced them. So, you're looking to die, are you? Very well, Sasori said. He got his scroll out and summoned the 3rd cage puppet. He moved his puppet towards the toads and slashed one with its blades. He aimed for the other one and used its many arms to hold it down. He then used the puppet's iron sand to finish them off. That was too easy. Maybe I'll start a new collection of monsters, Sasori said. Soon after, a big explosion occurred not too far away from them. Sasori turned to the direction of the explosion. That idiot is getting carried away again. He's never going to learn, he said to himself. Hey Sasori, where do you think that explosion came from? Deidara asked as his bird landed next to his partner. I thought you were over there. Sasori replied. No, I was busy in that area, he said as he pointed to the direction that had a few small areas of impacted ground. Still, whoever's doing that, better not be copying my art, Deidara said. I doubt that, Sasori deadpanned. Well, let's check it out. I'll teach them not to copy me. He exclaimed as he flew towards where the explosion was. Why not? Sasori sighed and followed him. Kazuma's party member Megaman just casted an explosion on one of the toads while Aqua was being eaten by one. One of the toads was killed by the explosion and Kazuma was impressed by it. Megaman however collapsed from exhaustion as another toad was approaching her. While my explosion magic is powerful, it also consumes a lot of magical power. I used magic past my limit so I can't move, Megaman said. What? Kazuma said as he's having the worst luck in finding party members. The frog was getting closer to her. I never expected a frog to pop up close by. That's bad. Can you please help me out before she was cut off by the toad that started eating her? No, don't get eaten, Kazuma shouted as he ran towards and quickly slashed the 2 toads with his sword, saving Aqua and Megaman and killing the toads. Not again. Aqua cried as she was covered in toad slime while Megaman was still unable to move. Thanks, Kazuma. I stink of frog though, Megaman said. Let's get back to town, we killed enough frogs, he said as he picked her up. 2 more toads were approaching the party. No, not more of them, Aqua complained. Crap, this is bad. Kazuma panicked knowing he can't outrun them while carrying Megaman. As they were trying to get away, a clay bird flew over the group. What's that? Aqua asked. Take this. Art is an explosion, Deidara shouted as he threw a large clay bomb down at the toads. It impacted the ground and caused a blast big enough for the party to be barely caught in. Kazuma and Aqua lost balance by the blast and fell to the ground. What was that guy thinking? He nearly got us blown up too, Kazuma exclaimed. That was an amazing explosion though, Megaman commented happily. Get your priorities straight. Wait, does that mean that guy's also worn out? He said. One of them is still alive. Aqua panicked as she pointed to the toad that was slowly getting up. Before it could do anything, a wooden puppet charged at it and sliced through the toad with its many blades on its arm. They turned and saw Sasori standing there controlling the puppet. Thanks for that. We needed the help, Kazuma said. Just be more careful from now on. You won't be so lucky next time, Sasori replied. The bird landed and Deidara got off it and walked towards the party. Alright, now which one of you is copying me? He demanded. Copy? Copy what? Kazuma asked confused. We're not copying anyone, Aqua said. That explosion we saw, it has to be one of you, Deidara said. We didn't even know you were here. He answered. That was me. I was casting explosion magic. You were using it too, weren't you? Why aren't you tired? Megaman said. Normally she would be thrilled in seeing someone using explosion magic, but she's too exhausted for it. Why would I be tired from a few explosions I just used? That's just stupid. How would I be able to do my art then? Deidara asked. Before she could respond, "Let's go, brat. We still have a few more toads to take care of," Sasori told him as he began to leave. "Yeah, I'm coming. At least I know no one is trying to copy my art." Deidara replied, getting back on his bird and following him. The party watched the two leave. They must be pretty good if they can take down those frogs easily. Kazuma thought, I must learn how he can cast those explosions like that. Megaman thought determined. Can we please go back now? Aqua asked impatiently. As they made it back to town, Kazuma was carrying Megaman piggyback while Aqua was crying about the toad slime on her. Though the frog stinks, it feels nice and warm. Megaman said, that's something I don't need to know. Kazuma replied. He turned and faced her. You're banned from using explosion magic unless for emergencies. Just use other magic from now on. I can't, she said. Huh? I can only use explosion magic. I can't cast any other magic. Megaman said. Seriously? Kazuma asked. Seriously. There was a moment of silence until Aqua breaks the silence. If your level is high enough for explosion magic, can't you use other magic too? I mean, I couldn't learn all of the Archpriest spells until after I learned all of the party trick skills. Aqua asked. What would you need party tricks for? Kazuma asked. I'm an archwizard who loves explosion magic over everything. I don't like any other magic in the detonation family. I only use explosion magic. I could, of course, easily go on quests if I learned other magic, but I won't. I only use explosion magic. Even if I could only use it once a day or I collapse after using my magic. I will always love explosion. I chose the path of an archwizard just so I can cast explosion magic. Megaman explained. Amazing. Simply wonderful. It may be inefficient, but I'm moved by your romantic pursuit. Aqua said in excitement. They gave each other thumbs up. I still wonder why that guy on that weird bird didn't get exhausted like me after using explosion magic. It was awesome, Megaman said curiously and excited. Maybe he's on a higher level than us and has a lot of magic. Kazuma guessed. Well, I did hear that two people in strange black and red outfits just recently joined the guild and started out as archwizards. Maybe that's them, Aqua said. Now, I have to learn that explosion magic. He must be walking the same path of explosions like me. I have to find him again. Megaman said excited and eagerly. That's good, because when we get back, we can split the reward and maybe we can see each again some. Kazuma said, but Megaman held on to him tightly. My only desire is to use my explosion magic. I'll be fine even I don't get paid. But, as an archwizard's power can be yours, for the cost of food and necessities. You have no choice other than making me a permanent party member. She said, no, your power would be wasted on weak adventurers like us. Kazuma tried to persuade. She held on to him tighter. No, I don't mind even if you're weak adventurers. I have an advanced class but I'm only level 6. Stop prying my hand away. Megaman said. No. What kind of wizard can only use one spell a day? Kazuma exclaimed, trying to shake her off. Let go of me. You got dumped by some party, didn't you? Plus if we go into some dungeon, you can't use your explosion magic because you'll get us killed like that guy almost did. You get more useless, he exclaimed. No other parties will accept me. I'll carry your stuff or whatever it is. Please don't abandon me. Megaman begged. How awful, that man is going to abandon that poor girl. One of the female citizens said. And that other girl is covered in slime. Another female citizen said. Kazuma and Megaman noticed they were causing attention and it was making Kazuma nervous. Wait, it's not what you think, he shouted. Megaman grinned with an idea and stared at Kazuma. Don't leave me, I'm fine with whatever erotic acts you like. I can endure the slime act with those frogs again, she shouted. He quickly covered her mouth. All right, you can join. Welcome to our party, Kazuma exclaimed. Megaman smiled happily in her victory. The party resumed heading back to the guild. There was still one thing in his mind. The two adventurers that saved them and found out that they started out as archwizards. One of them was using explosions like Megaman and had a bird for a ride. The other one can use a big wooden puppet as a weapon. He was amazed that they were already so powerful. I hope we run into them again. Maybe I can convince them join my party. I could use their help in defeating the Demon King. Kazuma thought as they returned to the guild and end their quest. On the next day, Sasori and Deidara had more than enough money to stay at an inn and didn't go on a quest for today. Sasori made use of the extra risk to purchase some books about the world and magic for information. During the day, they were annoyed by a certain blue-haired girl who was showing off with her water magic. Later, they sat at a table as Sasori was working on his puppets he created and Deidara was examining his adventurer's card. Damn it, still not enough points to learn explosion magic, Deidara mumbled. You should focus on other skills instead of explosions, brat. I'm still waiting to find a useful skill. Sasori said as he was setting up his puppet. Why would I do that? Explosions are all I need to perform my art. He replied. If you wanted to learn about art, you should have stuck with something with captured beauty. That's what art is, Sasori argued. Sasori my man, while I respect your opinion as an artist, true art comes from explosions. Deidara argued back. Exactly, a girl exclaimed excitedly from the bar. They turned and saw a small crimson-dressed girl getting close to the young teen in a jumpsuit. Exactly right, Kazuma. If you want to learn explosion magic, I can teach you as much you want. Is there any other worthy skill you'd want to learn? Certainly not. Come and we'll walk the path of explosions, she said excitedly. See, that proves what true art is about. That little girl gets it, Deidara said proudly to his partner. Is she even talking about art? Sasori asked annoyed. He called me little girl. Little girl, Megumin said quietly as she overheard them. Her excitement instantly went down to depressed as she quietly ate her food. Wait, aren't you the two that saved us the other day? Kazuma asked as he noticed them. Oh, it's you. The kids who had trouble with a few frogs. What about it, brat? Sasori said. He's at the same age as me and he calls me a brat? Kazuma thought irritated. Yeah, well that's because my party was worn out by fighting them. He answered nervously though it was mostly by Megumin's explosion. Aqua couldn't do anything to help and he had luckily saved them. Those things were easy. They were no match for explosions, Deidara said arrogantly. Megumin perked up and looked at the artists. You're the archwizard that casted that amazing explosion magic. Are you on the path of explosions? Please teach me, she exclaimed excitedly. If you mean by the path of true art then yes because there's no truer art than explosions. The blonde answered proudly. Finally, someone that appreciates his art. Art? I love explosions but I never thought that was art. Megumin said confused. Deidara was stunned by that response while Sasori smirked. What kind of person does explosions and not think it's art? He asked irritated. Anyone but you would think that way. Sasori answered. Kazuma's sweat dropped as he watched them argue then decided to end it. Anyway, my name is Kazuma. This explosion nut next to me is me. He said. I am Megumin, the arch-wizard of the Crimson Demons that controls the strongest magic of all, explosion magic. She introduced as she put on her eye patch and struck a pose. You can only use it once. Kazuma exclaimed. So, it's still an explosion, Megumin replied. The other girl you saw with us was Aqua, she's pretty useless. Kazuma continued. I am Sasori of the Red Sand. This brat's name is Deidara. The red-haired introduced. They may call us arch-wizards but you're looking at two artists. Deidara told him. What's with the cloaks? Kazuma asked. They're from a group we used to work for. Let's leave it at that. Sasori answered. I've been looking for you. The four turned and saw a blonde woman in white and yellow armor and a silver-haired girl who has a scar on her cheek and wore a scarf and light clothing. Who are these two? Deidara thought. We couldn't finish talking because you were drunk last night and headed home. The blonde said. I'm fine now, Kazuma said uncomfortably as he tried to get away from her once. Good, shall we continue where our conversation left off? Can I join your party? She requested. No, you can't, he said quickly. Such a snap decision, she said as she started blushing and hugging herself. Kazuma was really weirded out by it. What is with this girl? Deidara thought as he was also creeped out. She should pick better habits. Sasori thought. You see, our party is already full because I invited these two. Kazuma explained pointing to the artists. Hey, I never said anything about joining. Deidara protested. My answer is no, Sasori stated. Please, play along. Kazuma begged. That won't do, darkness. You're too pushy. The silver girl said as she stepped up. Who are you? Kazuma asked. I'm Chris, a thief and as you can see, I'm friends with this girl. She introduced. Have we met before? I feel like I've seen you once. Deidara asked. Nope, can't say I have. Chris replied. Sasori had a suspicious glare at her as he's also seen her somewhere. So, you here to join this guy's party too? Deidara asked. No, I'm just helping darkness out, besides I'm already in a party with someone. They may look intimidating, but they're pretty nice guys once you get to know them. She explained, then turned to Kazuma. I'm also here because I heard you want to learn a new skill. Would you like to learn a thief skill? Chris suggested. Huh? It doesn't take too many points to learn. I'm sure it'll come in handy for you. She explained. Really? Kazuma asked. Yes, the only thing you need to do is buy me a drink. Chris answered. Alright, let's do it. He replied. Hey, can you get me an ice-cold drink for the lady here? A minute later, a full cup was set on the bar. Chris takes and drinks it. Thank you, now let's go outside so I can teach you your skill. She said as she started to head out the door. I'll come with. Darkness said as she and Kazuma followed Chris. As they watched them leave, Megaman turned back to Deidara. Sasori went back to work on his puppet. So can you please show me how you make those explosions? She asked. Well, since you're interested, I might as well show you. Deidara answered proudly as he took small clay out. This is how I start forming my clay and infuse my chalk magic into it, then make it into my art. He said as his handmouths started working on the clay. Ew. Megaman was grossed out by the hands. I thought I told you not to show anyone those disgusting hands, brat. Sasori said. She wants to know about my art, so I'm showing her. Deidara replied. Still, if it causes explosions then I love it. Despite having those handmouths. Megaman said happily. I wonder, what is this path of explosions you're on? He asked curiously. You see, as an archwizard, I chose this path for the sole purpose of explosions. I refuse to use any other magic. Sure, I could only use it once a day, but that doesn't matter. I will only cast explosion. I love explosions. Megaman explained. You mean you can only cast that spell once and then you can't do anything else? Sasori asked in disbelief as he couldn't imagine how stupid her goal is. So you put all of your magic in one big explosion, then you can't use it until the next day? Deidara asked. She nodded. That sounds like the sign of a true artist, He smiled. Sasori couldn't believe what he hearing from his partner. Didn't you say getting exhausted from a few explosions was stupid? Sasori asked. That's different. Sure, it doesn't sound smart, but you can't help but admire it. She's devoted to using her explosions, in which she's putting all of her effort into one big art. Deidara explained. That's exactly right. I use all of my magic to make the biggest explosion I can create. How could I resist the urge? Megaman answered excited. Then how come you don't make explosions like her? Sasori asked him. It's called saving the best for last, and the quality is more important than quantity. If she viewed it as art, then she'd make a great artist. Deidara explained. Megaman was happy to have someone besides Aqua supporting her path. Great, now there's two of them. I'm starting to regret coming to this world. Sasori muttered as he groaned. Hey Megaman, where's Kazuma? He missed all of my awesome party tricks. Aqua asked as she walked up to them. He went out to learn a new skill with some thief named Chris. Megaman answered. Aqua noticed Deidara and Sasori. Are these the two arch-wizards that saved us? She asked. Yes, their names are Deidara and Sasori. Megaman introduced. I assume this is your other party member? Sasori asked. Not just a party member. I am the goddess of water, Aqua. Worshipped by the Axis Order. Be honored for getting my attention and greeting you. She declared with pride. I've already worked for someone with a god complex. He was a lot better at it. Sasori said uninterested as he was referring to their leader who declared himself a god. What? It's the real thing. You're looking at the beautiful goddess here. Aqua said. Megaman's sweat dropped. The only beauty is my eternal art. He stated as he finished his puppet. Your art can't possibly be more important than the amazing Aqua. My party tricks have gained the attention of many others. She said. Deidara twitched in irritation at the comment. I mean, what's so great about your guy's art anyway? Aqua asked. The blonde was getting pissed off and was resisting the urge to kill her. Aqua, is it? An artist won't stand it when his work is insulted 3 times. Do it again, then I'll decide the fate of your death. Deidara warned. Aqua was not too threatened by it. Megaman, however, was nervous about it. Aqua, I think you should. Megaman tried to make her stop. Are you going to paint me to death? She joked. That was the third one. Sasori stated. Deidara started strangling her. Your death is suffocation, he said angrily. All right, I'll stop. I'm sorry. Aqua gasped as she tried to pry him off. Later, after Megaman stopped Deidara from trying to kill Aqua. Kazuma returned with Chris crying and Darkness panting. There you are, Kazuma, you missed all of my dazzling tricks. And what's with her? Aqua asked. Well, he tried to explain, but Darkness beat him to it. Indeed, she taught Kazuma some thief skills. He used it and her panties were taken away from her. Then he took all of the money that she had. Darkness explained as she smiled. Could you stop blurting everything out? Kazuma exclaimed. He said giving back his coin pouch wasn't enough, so I told him I'd pay to get my panties back. He told me to decide what they were worth. Chris explained as she cried. Megaman, Aqua and Deidara were shocked by this while Sasori didn't show any expression. Hey, wait, that's not what happened. Okay it is, but please stop. Kazuma exclaimed. He said if it wasn't enough then he would have my panties framed as a family heirloom. Chris continued as she cried. Please, every female adventurer looks like they want to kill me. Seriously, he pleaded. Chris stuck her tongue out to him. That is not how you treat women, kid. Deidara shouted. You were strangling one not too long ago. Sasori reminded him. She deserved it, he retorted. So did you actually learn some skills or were you messing around? Aqua asked. Yeah, I learned a skill. Just watch. Kazuma answered proudly. He turned to Deidara. Steal, he exclaimed as his hand closed and shined. Deidara felt something off as if he was missing certain clothing. He looked at Kazuma as he opened his hand and saw it was his boxers. Oh no, Kazuma gasped as Deidara deathly glared at him. He reached for his pockets and got his clay out. No, wait, I didn't mean to steal those. Honestly, Kazuma tried to defend himself. I'll blast you away. Deidara growled as he blew him with his bombs and sent Kazuma flying towards the end of the room. Did Kazuma's class went from adventurer to pervert? Megaman asked disgusted. I want those back, now. He demanded. Take them, take them. Kazuma panicked. He took it and left to go change. So sick, Kazuma. Aqua said disgusted. Yet the skill he learned is useless unless it's for perverts. Sasori stated. Such savage. To take panties and then a man's underwear and shame it in public. I can't allow this. Darkness said in a professional tone, then she was turned on. Please let me join your party. It's still no. Kazuma answered bluntly. She started getting more aroused by it. How did we get into this mess? Sasori thought as he groaned. After Deidara came back after changing, they all went to a table as Megaman examined Darkness's card. This woman is a crusader. We should let her join rather than turning her down. Megaman suggested. That's the sword class, isn't it? Deidara asked. She nodded. Well, that personality of hers is enough reason to turn her down, He said. I'm not sure if I can handle her if she asked to join us, Sasori said. Deidara has hand mouths and you're okay with it. Megaman argued. You have hand mouths? Gross. And you were touching me with those too. Aqua exclaimed. What would it feel being touched by those hands? Imagine them grabbing on your body and then having its way with whatever it desires. It's irresistible. Darkness said as she blushed. Get away from me. I'm not into S&M. Deidara shouted irritated. Look, Darkness, there's something I haven't told you yet. Kazuma said as the table starts getting their attention. Me and Aqua don't look like much, but our main goal is to defeat the Demon King. He explained as Aqua nodded. Really? Megaman asked. So you're after him too, are you? Deidara asked. Yeah, awesome, right. Aqua said proudly. Our adventure is going to get more dangerous in time. For you, Darkness, if you were caught by him you might suffer a horrible fate. Kazuma said. I accept it. Since the old days, being fated to suffer an erotic fate by the Demon King is the knight's duty. That alone makes it worth it to go. Darkness said with determination. Seriously? Kazuma asked with disbelief. What, did I say something wrong? She asked confused. Her whole reason was wrong. Deidara thought. Megaman, I mean what I said. We're fighting the strongest being in the world. You can still leave the party if you. Kazuma said, but she cut him by slamming the table. My name is Megaman. I am from the Crimson Demon Clan and user of the greatest spell, Explosion Magic. The Demon King thinks himself superior, but I'll destroy his presence with the strongest magic in the world, Explosion. She declared. Yeah, that Demon King stands no chance against art. Deidara encouraged as Sasori sighed and shook his head. Kazuma looked down as his plan failed. He then looked at Sasori and Deidara as he may still have a chance. I was hoping you two could actually join us in adventure in defeating the Demon King. It's risky, but you have the same goal, right? So we should work together. Kazuma tried to persuade. I told you the answer is no. Sasori refused coldly. But we have better chances in succeeding, don't we? He asked. We've been doing quite well on our own so far. All you would do is slow us down. Sasori stated. Kazuma had his head down in defeat. Emergency quest. Emergency quest. All adventurers, please gather at the front gate. I repeat, all adventurers, please gather at the front gate. Luna announced. What could this be about? Sasori asked as he stood up. I'm not sure if I want to find out. Kazuma said nervously. Whatever it is, this will be my chance to show how great my art is. Deidara grinned. All of the adventurers were in front of the entrance. It was cloudy and there was a green swarm approaching the town. What's heading towards us? Kazuma asked as he was not prepared for this. Not to worry, I'll protect everyone. You stay close, Kazuma. Darkness said. It's an emergency, is it monsters attacking? He asked. Why else would it be an emergency? Deidara answered as he started to get his clay out. Oh no, it's not monsters, it's cabbage. Aqua said. What? Kazuma, Deidara asked. Sasori started to feel something was off about this when he saw those cages and baskets. It's harvest time. The guild cheered. Bring out the mayonnaise. Aqua cheered. As the army of cabbages got closer, they started flying all over the area. The adventurers were chasing them and attempting to catch them. They brought all of us out here just for this? Sasori asked, annoyed as he thought this was a big waste of time. These people need to define their emergencies. Deidara said as his sweat dropped. Attention! The annual cabbage harvesting season has arrived. This year's cabbage is the best quality by far, and will go for 10,000 aris per head. Capture as many cabbages as you can and place them in these cages. Luna explained. The guild cheered in excitement. But if we're getting paid for this, then I might as well join in. Deidara smirked as he reached for his magic bag. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to have a little extra money. Sasori sighed. He summoned his puppet out and started attacking the cabbages. Sasori used his puppet's blades to slash down a few of the cabbages. He then used the 1,000 arms on it to catch many of the cabbages while he made sure they were paralyzed. As he gathered an amount, he set them in one of the cages. When he finished, Sasori turned and saw Darkness swinging her sword at the cabbages but couldn't hit anything. Pathetic, Kazuma's party is more useless than I thought. Sasori murmured. Darkness later stood in front of some adventurers who were being attacked by cabbage. She was taking the hits and parts of her armor were coming off. Please, save yourself, the adventurer cried. I can't. I won't abandon my comrades. Never. Darkness yelled as she got hit. She was starting to enjoy the attacks inflicted on her. At least she makes useful shield. I would make her into a defense puppet, but she's not worth it. Sasori thought as she may get turned on by that too. She's going so far to protect them. A female adventurer said happily. As a knight, we must follow her example. A male knight commented. They're idiots. Sasori thought as he glanced at them. Deidara starts throwing many of his clay spiders at the cabbages. Some of them attached to the cabbages while some missed. When they all landed, he got ready to detonate. Katsu! Deidara shouted as he blew up all of the bombs. They were small explosions surrounding him. He made to not to obliterate them as he tries to collect them. Deidara picked up a few of the fallen cabbages until he saw hordes of them in one area. Lucky there was no one else around there. I think it's time for some C2 explosives. He grinned as he summoned his clay dragon and rides it. The dragon spits out a clay bird and it flew towards the horde. Try to get away from this. Deidara taunted as the bird exploded while wiping out many of the cabbages in that area. Many of the adventurers witnessed the explosion and tried to keep their distance. There were still a lot more of them. Megumin took a stance and had her staff ready. Deidara is showing the cabbages the most lethal magic. I must do the same for none can withstand my explosion. Megumin declared. She looked at her staff trembling in excitement. Seeing explosions and a huge army of cabbages. How can I resist the sweet urge to unleash explosion? She said eagerly. I can't. Yes you can. Kazuma shouted. Megumin's staff is gaining aura. Darkness shrouded in light. Frenzied blaze clad in night. In the name of crimson demons, let the collapse of thine origin manifest. Summon before me the root of thy power hidden within the lands of the kingdom of demise. She chanted. Deidara started to watch as he was looking forward and seeing her explosion. Show me what biggest art you can do, Megumin. Deidara said eagerly as he was still on the bird. Explosion. she yelled as she shot a big blast at the horde. The adventurer tried to run, but the explosion impact was large enough that it sent adventurers flying. It covered the wide field while destroying all of the cabbages. Deidara was laughing at the scene in excitement. After the explosion, Megumin fell to the ground and was exhausted again. Sasori just watched the whole scene and was not the least bit interested. Ha ha, that is the art I love seeing. Because art is an explosion. Deidara exclaimed happily as the huge field full of cabbage was all unable to move by the blast. Later at night, adventurers were celebrating by having full-course meals of cabbages. Kazuma's party and the artist duo were currently having cabbage themselves. I expect nothing less from a crusader. Those cabbages stood no chance breaking your iron defense. Aqua said. How did she gain an advanced class if she can't hit anything? Sasori thought, annoyed. Actually, my body is built solidly. Being a wall to protect someone is all I'm good for. Darkness replied. Aqua's nature's beauty was splendid too. She boosted the morale of the adventurers and kept the cabbages fresh with cold water, Megumin said. No worries, it's only natural for an archpriest to heal everyone. Aqua said happily. All you did was pour water. Sasori said, unimpressed. An archpriest's water is the purest. She replied. He rolled his eyes by that comment. Yours and Deidara's magic was astounding. He wiped out part of a swarm of cabbage with that exploding bird thing, then Megumin took out the rest in one blow. Darkness said, impressed. That's the crimson demon power you witnessed. Megumin said proudly. I could make it bigger if I wanted, but that's the power of art. Deidara replied. I've never taken hits by such firepower before. If only I could have felt Deidara's too. Darkness said as she blushed. He was creeped out by her masochist personality. Don't try to get hit by them. Kazuma said as he's one of the sane ones on the table. Kazuma's party laughed as they enjoy themselves except for Kazuma, who simply sighed. Sasori looked around the guild as he saw adventurers enjoying their night. During the past days, he realized that none of these adventurers were nearly motivated in killing the Demon King and would rather throw parties than facing their enemies. The only adventurers he's seen that seemed to want to destroy the Demon King was Kazuma's party, and they were the weakest. That Sasori guy was good as well. He had that big puppet to use as weapon and caught some of those cabbages. Aqua pointed out. Yes, I've never seen magic like that before. What is it? Megumin asked. It's a special type of magic learned only where I'm from called Puppet Master. Sasori answered, leaving out information involving their world. Did you learn those explosions from where you're from, Deidara? Megumin asked. Yeah, though I simply found the ultimate art there. He answered. If only I had those two in my party instead. They're way better. Kazuma thought. You did great too, Kazuma. As goddess I hereby name you, the great cabbage thief. Aqua said. Shut up. How did I ever end up like this? Kazuma exclaimed. Now you know my skills as a crusader. Once more I am darkness. I can use a sword with either hand, but I can't hit a single target. I'm also too clumsy. However, I can be the wall for your party. Darkness said eagerly. Our party is starting to grow impressive, you think? Aqua asked. How worse can this get? Kazuma complained as he slammed his head on the table. Kazuma, you said that your main goal is to destroy the Demon King, correct? Sasori asked. Yes, but my party is so useless. He whined. If you're really serious in wanting to destroy him, then we'll combine our parties. We have our own reasons for wanting him dead. Sasori stated. Wait, really? You'll join? Kazuma asked, getting his hopes up. However, whatever quests we pick, you'll have to accept, and you must improve your skills in time. He said. Yes, I will. Thank you. Kazuma replied. What about you, brat? Are you agreeing to this as well? Sasori asked his partner. Yeah, I'm fine with joining as long as none of them are Toby. Deidara answered, then glared at Kazuma. But don't ever use that stealed trick on me again. I won't, he replied fearfully. Besides, this girl needs to know the meaning of art. I need to teach her that. Deidara pointed to Megumin. You mean it? She gasped in excitement. I can see the potential you have in being an artist like myself. He answered. Thank you. I won't disappoint you. Megumin said happily as she gave him a quick hug. I will learn this art to walk the path of explosions. Now we got 6 party members. There's me, an archpriest, then Megumin, Deidara, Sasori, 3 arch-wizards, and finally Darkness, a crusader. There's not many parties where nearly all of them are advanced classes. Aqua said. At least 2 of them will actually be useful. Kazuma thought. Kazuma, feel free to use me as your shield, and if I fail, abandon me as pawn if you wish. I wouldn't mind at all. Darkness smiled as she started to imagine the thrill of it. Sasori sighed as he was starting to regret his decision already. Kazuma chose his skill and started to use it. Create water. Kazuma chanted. He poured water into the glass from his hand. He smiled at success and started to drink it. That's what you spend your skills points for? To make a glass of water? Sasori said, disappointed. He thought of him as one of those types that die young when they first combine their parties. True, this is only an elementary skill, but at least I'm starting to feel like an adventurer. Plus I can make clean drinking water anytime now. Kazuma said. Can't Aqua also make water? And she's able to make enough water for the party. Deidara said. It took him a moment for that information to sink in. Damn it, why didn't I think of that? He screamed in his head. Well, you never know when Aqua may not be around. Kazuma said nervously as he tried to come up with an excuse. Kazuma, Sasori, Deidara, I've had my armor repaired with the reward I got from the cabbage harvest. It's so shiny. What do you think? Darkness asked as she joined the group. Does that armor even help you? Deidara asked. It looks like some armor that some spoiled aristocrat's son would wear. Kazuma deadpanned. Shiny may only be for show. I prefer to see if your armor could be useful in action. Sasori stated. That reminds me, I still need to see how much me and Sasori made after that cabbage hunt. Deidara said as he got up and walked towards the reception desk. Can't I get any praise from you? Unless the action you want to see is monsters showing no mercy against me. Doing whatever they want with me. How ruthless. Darkness said as she started blushing. No, I do not. Sasori said, annoyed. I've got enough weirdos already. Kazuma said as he glanced at Megumin, who was rubbing her body on her staff. Such destructive power. Oh Manatite staff. I love your magical power. We'll cast explosion magic with Deidara. Megumin said excitedly. What do you mean? I caught a lot of cabbages and you gave me that little? Aqua exclaimed as she grabbed the receptionist's shirt. Well, actually most of what you caught is actually lettuce. Luna answered nervously. Why is lettuce mixed in with my cabbages? I worked so hard on getting those cabbages. Aqua said angrily. You got your cabbage mixed with lettuce? How stupid. The cabbages are alive and easy to be seen. Deidara said. Oh, and I suppose you got a lot more than me? Aqua asked as she glared at him. I sure did. I collected thousands of cabbages with just a few bangs. He explained proudly. Actually, most of the cabbages you collected were inedible, so we can only reward you a little. Luna said. What do you mean? Deidara exclaimed. Well, the cabbages that were inedible were too burned by your explosions, so we can't use it. Luna explained. Aqua giggled at this. Didn't I tell you not to get carried away, brat? Sasori said as he approached them. Deidara had his head down in defeat. Unfortunately for you, you didn't bring back any edible cabbage either. Luna said. What? How is it not usable? Sasori demanded. The cabbages had poison in them, so we had to get rid of it. She told him. Guess it was bad idea to use your poisonous blades. Deidara smirked. You put poison in your blades? Aqua asked. All of my attacks are based on poison. Helps me end a fight quick. Sasori answered. I don't know why you used poison attacks against cabbage, but I'm afraid we can't use it. Luna said in an apologetic tone. If the guild would have toughened up by a little poison, then we wouldn't have this problem. Sasori muttered. You do know that your poison is really deadly. Deidara reminded him. And my poison is not to be taken lightly. He stated. Deidara's sweat dropped as Sasori is missing the point. Aqua turned to Kazuma and skipped towards him. Oh, Kazuma, how much did you make from our last quest? Aqua asked innocently. About 1 million, he answered. Nearly the entire party was surprised. How the hell did you make that much? Deidara asked. The cabbages I got had a lot of XP. I guess my luck makes a difference. Kazuma said. His luck must be very high if it helped him earn a lot of Aris. Perhaps he might be of some use after all. Sasori thought. Listen Kazuma, I've been thinking, but you're a very cool guy, you know? Aqua complimented as she's attempting to ask for money. Flattery won't get you anywhere. Just tell me what you want. Kazuma said annoyed. She started to get on the table and grabbed his arms. Kazuma, I need some money. I thought I would get a big reward, so I used all the money I had. I owe those guys some money. Please, I need 100,000 iris. Aqua whined as she pointed to the two creepy adventurers in the corner. Not my problem. You're the one that said that we each keep our rewards for ourselves. Kazuma told her. I only said that because I thought I'd make a killing off it. She cried. Deidara and Sasori didn't make a lot of money either. Kazuma argued. That doesn't matter. We still have enough from the previous quests. Sasori stated. Please, give me money. I need to pay my tab. Aqua whined. Shut up, useless goddess. I'm using this money to get away from the stables. Kazuma told her. Well, a boy would like a private room, and I know you like to rustle around beside me at night, sometimes along with your. Aqua said. He quickly covered her mouth. Okay, alright, I'll give you money if you shut up. Kazuma panicked. I can't believe he fell for that trick. Sasori thought, annoyed. Good thing Kakuzu isn't here. Deidara muttered, as he thought that he would kill for that money or anyone that asked them for it. Kazuma give her the amount of iris for Aqua to pay the tab. Thank you, Kazuma. You're a real ally. I'm happy to be in a party with you. Aqua said happily while he was annoyed. She went to the two guys and started to pay them. Remind me why she's in the party again? Deidara asked. I tried to get rid of her myself but nothing works. Kazuma said, annoyed. The next day, Kazuma wanted to show the party his new outfit. He wore a green mantle and a white shirt. He also had a sword equipped on him. What do you guys think? He asked. Kazuma looks like a real adventurer now. Megaman commented. His tracksuit didn't fit well in the fantasy world, Aqua said. Fantasy world? Darkness asked, confused. It may be elementary, but I do have a magic skill. I was going for a sword mage with no shield. Kazuma said proudly. At least he doesn't look like a creep like these two. Aqua deadpanned and gestured towards the two artists. What's wrong with our outfits? Deidara exclaimed. You two wear the same thing. Don't you have your own style? She asked. I thought they looked cool. Megaman commented. I wonder why you wear the same outfits. Darkness said. They represent the organization that we were from. Sasori stated. Did you leave? Kazuma asked. Yes, we had to separate from them due to unfortunate circumstances, but we carry these cloaks with us to remember them by. He explained. Half of it was a lie since they couldn't tell them that they died in their previous world. Well then, let's go on a kill quest with a lot of small monsters. I've been looking forward to using my explosion magic with this new staff. Megaman said as she hugged her staff. Or we could take one with strong monsters that can hit us with a huge blow. Darkness suggested, excited. No, let's do a quest that can earn us a lot of money. I paid my tab, so I need more money to buy a meal. Aqua said, determined. I prefer a quest that's suited for my art. Deidara said. I really don't care. Just a quest where I can test out my new puppets. Sasori said. Well, it's mating season for the toads, so I heard they're a lot outside the town. Kazuma suggested. No, not the frogs. Aqua, Megaman shouted. Why? Darkness asked. These two were traumatized by frogs. They got eaten by frogs and got covered in slime. Kazuma said. Covered in slime? Darkness exclaimed. Don't get turned on by something so ridiculous. Sasori told her. I'm not. Darkness replied, embarrassed. Going against toads would be boring. Find a different quest. Deidara said. Why don't we find out what's on the quest board? Kazuma said. The six went to check out the quests available, but there were hardly any at the time. Why aren't there many quests right now? Kazuma said. Kazuma, let's do this one. We had to kill some dangerous beast called Black Fang. Darkness suggested. No way. That's too much. He exclaimed. We can take that thing on. Deidara said. Maybe you can, but the rest of us can't. Kazuma argued. You did agree to accept whatever quests we chose, didn't you? Sasori reminded him. Damn it, they're going to be the death of me. He thought. Well, if it isn't Sasori and Deidara. A familiar voice said. They turned and saw two men wearing the same cloaks as the artists. One was large and had shark-like skin. He had a bandaged sword strapped on him. The other one was young and had raven black hair with a small ponytail. He had a calm expression. Kazuma, Megaman and Aqua were startled by the shark's appearance. Kisame and Itachi. I didn't expect to meet you two again. Sasori said. Itachi, why does that damn Uchiha have to be here? Deidara thought angrily. It seems that you two were also given a second chance. Itachi stated. Wait, you know each other? Aqua asked them. They're wearing the same cloaks. So I think they would. Megaman said. What do you mean by second chance? Darkness asked. I see that you already met. A familiar female voice said. They turned and saw Chris approaching them. This is the party I was talking about. Chris said. Oh yes, this is the party you mentioned. Darkness said. This is Kisame, a swordmaster, and Itachi, an adventurer. She introduced. A swordmaster? Wow, you must be really strong then. Aqua said. Yes, but I say that Itachi is even stronger than me. Kisame grinned. Wait, seriously? And he's an adventurer? Kazuma exclaimed. The adventurer class was best suitable for me and my abilities. Itachi stated. I'm an adventurer too. I'm Kazuma. He introduced. So you're Kazuma. Chris has told me about you. Itachi said. Wait, what did she say? Kazuma panicked. Something about taking underwear and making her pay for it. Quite the nerve to humiliate her like that. Kisame answered. What? He exclaimed as he was in trouble. You can relax. She told us not to do anything about it. Itachi told him. Kazuma sighed in relief. If you're here, does that mean you also wish to kill the Demon King? Sasori asked. Yes, I wished to make amends for the actions I committed. Itachi stated. It sounds like an interesting cause, so I decided to tag along with him. Kisame grinned. I thought you said they were both intimidating. Kazuma said to Chris. Well, when Itachi uses his eyes, yes. But he has such good looks. She said as she blushed at the end. Kisame had his head down after hearing that. I see. I'm just a freak, aren't I? Kisame said as he sulked. That really bothers you, doesn't it? Deidara said as his sweat dropped. Oh no, I think you look great too. Chris assured, trying to help him. Well, that is nice coming from you. Kisame replied. Itachi approaches the board and takes one of the job quests. The reason why there's so little requests is because one of the Demon King's generals has moved somewhere close to this town. All of the weak monsters have gone into hiding because of it. We've been trying to search for him to help the town. He explained. So we have to wait until he's gone. Kazuma asked. Itachi nodded. This sucks. He complained. As if we'll let you find this general first. He'll fall before my art. Deidara said arrogantly. Yes, he's no match to explosion magic. Megaman agreed. I couldn't care less who defeats him. Itachi stated. Deidara couldn't stand him for being ignored. So who's the other three in your party? Kisame asked. I am the great, awesome water goddess AQ. That's Aqua. Kazuma interrupted. Don't interrupt my introduction. Aqua said, annoyed. This is Megaman and this thing is Darkness. He introduced them. You ruined my chance of introduction. I was going to make a cool impression. Megaman exclaimed. He called me thing as if I was an object. Darkness said as she blushed. Nice to meet you all. We'd like to stay and chat, but we got a quest to do. Kisame said. Agreed. Itachi nodded. The two began to leave for the door. We'll see you later, Chris said as she went with them. So that's Chris's party. I wonder how strong that Itachi guy is. Kazuma said. What strong enemies will they face? Will they find this demon general? What kind of horror fate can we expect from him? Darkness said as she starts getting flustered. Something that you don't need to get all aroused about. Sasori told her. I'm not. She replied, embarrassed. Either way, we're agreeing on this job for today. It shouldn't take too long. He stated as he picked a quest. Kazuma groaned as he was hoping he would survive it. During the quest the party was on, Deidara and Sasori mostly did the heavy fighting on the monsters. Darkness was taking the hits for the party. Megaman cast an explosion on many monsters in one area then fainted. Finally Kazuma and Aqua were trying really hard just to live through the whole quest. In the end, they completed the quest and returned back to end the day. On the next day, since they earned a lot of money from the last quest, they were not taking any more quests for the next days ahead. Aqua was spending her time showing her party tricks and drinking. Darkness was doing some training back at her home. Sasori had Kazuma train his skills to do better at quests. He was not looking forward to it. Deidara went with Megaman out of town to practice some magic. They were currently searching for a good spot. Is there a reason we have to be this far out of town? Deidara asked. If I don't, I'll be scolded by the guards again. Megaman answered. Usually I wouldn't care about that, but I'd rather not get any complaints from Sasori. He said. At least this will get my mind off that Itachi. Hell, maybe I'll find a skill that can let me see through genjutsu or create my eye scope again. Deidara said. Genjutsu? She asked, curiously. Illusions. Something that can see through illusions. Deidara answered. Why would you need that? Isn't explosion magic all you need? Megaman asked. Yes, all I need is my art. But I hate illusions, especially if it's from Itachi. Deidara said, annoyed. He also hated Itachi's brother, but he didn't bring it up. Weren't you two in the same organization before you left? Why don't you like him? She asked. I fought against Itachi once in a duel. But he tricked me into a genjutsu and that made me lose. Not only that, but it's also those eyes of his. He thinks he's so cool. He has no respect for my art. Always ignoring my art, he explained as he growled just thinking about him. You mean like he's not impressed at all at your explosion magic? Megaman asked. Another thing, I was almost convinced that was art. But that is not art. I refuse to acknowledge that. My art is superior. Deidara said proudly at the end. I suppose I wouldn't like it if everyone ignored my explosion magic. We'll just have to show the world how our explosion is most destructive and powerful spell. Megaman said, determined. That's what I plan to do. I'm showing the whole world my true art and the appreciation it deserves. Deidara said. The two eventually stopped and found an old castle in a distance. Nice architecture. All that it needs now is a blast. Deidara commented. Yes, this can do. No one will complain if that's blown up. Megaman said. I'll let you go first. Show me your art, he told her. She got on her stance and prepared to cast her spell. Crimson Black Blaze, king of countless worlds. Though I promulgate the laws of nature, I am the alias of destruction incarnate in accordance with the principles of all creation. Let the hammer of eternity descend unto me. Explosion, Megaman chanted. She fired her spell at the castle and an explosion occurred at the castle. The castle was still standing as large smoke came from the explosion. Megaman collapsed to the ground after she cast the spell. Burned to ash by the crimson. She said, not bad, Megaman. That's quite a big art you made. Deidara complimented. Thank you, can you please move me? I want to see your explosion. Megaman said. He picked her up and set her leaning against a tree. Now I'll show you my art. I'll give you one of my grand arts I enjoy doing. Deidara smirked. He summoned his bird and rode on top of it. He started to fly high into the sky above it. Megaman watched him fly while trying to stay awake. She was eager to see his explosion magic. She could also see that he loves explosions and was dedicated to them as his power. She was even curious about the art Deidara talks about in his explosion magic. Megaman wonders if this art will help her walk the path of explosions. She hopes that he can be with her in the same path. Megaman also wonders if there's anyone else that loves explosions like her. Meanwhile, in another world, achoo! A certain explosive blonde sneezed as they were about to start class soon. Are you okay, Kachan? Are you starting to catch a cold? Izuku asked. Don't be ridiculous, Deku. It's just one sneeze. Katsuki replied. You know, they say if you sneeze, someone might be talking about you. Izuku said. Don't tell me you believe that crap. He said rudely. Maybe it was some cute girl talking about you. Aren't you manly? Kirishima grinned. Shut up, shitty hair. Katsuki yelled. They heard the sound of the door opened then closed. Class is in session. Hope you're ready for what you're about to learn today. Aizawa told them. The class turned their attention to their teacher and continued to work their way to pro heroes. As Deidara got high enough above the castle, he created his C3 clay and dropped it over the castle. He quickly got back to where Megaman was to watch the explosion. He landed next to her and jumped off the bird. Now, you're about to witness real art. Deidara told her. Here it comes. Megaman smiled as she watched the C3 sculpture about to impact on the castle. Because true art, the C3 statue hit the castle and it impacted with a huge explosion that nearly reached them. Is an explosion? Deidara cheered excitedly. Megaman blushed as she saw the sight of the explosion he made. She wanted to make an explosion as big as his someday. She can tell that he has a lot of magic since that didn't even drain him all of his magic. That was amazing, she said happily. Yep, that's art, Deidara said as he started to enjoy the feeling of his explosion. I still don't get this about this art thing, but I just love the feeling of explosion magic. Megaman said. She then passed out from exhaustion. One day, you'll come to understand the meaning of art behind explosions. Deidara told her. As the smoke cleared, the castle was surprisingly still standing but heavily damaged by the explosion. Damn, that castle is stronger than I thought. That's fine, that just means I can perform more of my art on it. He said as he placed Megaman on his bird. Deidara flew back to the town and was eager to come back the next day. Kazuma was not enjoying himself at the moment. From the past days, Sasori was giving him extreme training to improve his skills and stats. It was torture to him. Kazuma was starting to regret either recruiting the two artists or being an adventurer in this world, probably both. They were both in the guild as Kazuma had his head on the table out of exhaustion. "Can we please take it easy for one day?" Kazuma begged, breathing heavily. "That would take too much time. I'd prefer getting the training done as soon as possible." Sasori answered, "Why are we in such a hurry anyway? We got a lot of money from that last quest, didn't we?" He asked. "Yes, but that doesn't mean we should slack off, and I don't like waiting." Sasori replied. "Shouldn't our other 3 useless party members get this training too?" Kazuma asked. "Because you're leading those useless party members, brat." He answered. "Why do you keep calling me brat? We're about the same age." Kazuma complained. "I'm older than I look." Sasori stated. He was surprised by that answer. Though truthfully, he was mentally older. His age was reduced back to a teen. Sasori had a human body again when he died. He plans to create another body that prevents him from aging to one day become art. Speaking of brats, I haven't seen Deidara around. Do you know where he is? Sasori asked. He's probably out of town with Megaman again. He says they're making art. Kazuma answered. Of course they are, brats. He replied, annoyed. I went with them once and all they've been doing so far is blowing up that abandoned castle they found. Kazuma explained. Abandoned castle? Sasori asked. Well, it looked old and abandoned, so it shouldn't be any problem since no one lives there. He said. If someone did, they're most likely dead already. Idiots can't stop getting themselves into trouble. Sasori thought, annoyed. During the day, Deidara and Megaman were heading close to the same castle again. It was mostly damaged by their explosions they keep using. Somehow it was still standing but only barely, as it may be destroyed completely by 2 or 3 more explosions. They stopped at their usual spot and got ready for another round. Megaman went first and started to chant her explosion spell. Explosion, she shouted as she unleashed her explosion at the castle. The castle suffered a much bigger explosion than she usually uses. She collapsed after using all of her magic. I see that your art and your magic has improved, Megaman. Deidara smirked. Thank you, I've been working on trying to make my explosions as big as yours. She replied. Are you going to use one of those C3 thing explosions again? Megaman asked. She enjoyed watching his C3 explosions since they had massive impact. No, this time, I'm trying something different. Something I've been working on lately. Deidara answered. He places his hands together as a sort of hand sign. A circle around him begins to form. Wait, is this? Megaman said, excited as she recognized that this is the spell she loved using. My art will leave a mark on the earth. My art will receive the admiration it deserves. Tremble and fear, recoil in despair, cower in awe, and cry your heart out. Because my art, he chanted as he aimed at the castle, is an explosion. Deidara finished as he shot his explosion at the castle. It was shaped like a bird as he fired it. The explosion impacted the castle. It was 3 times larger than Megaman's. The castle soon crumbled to ground, destroying it completely. And that only took a quarter of my magic. Deidara thought proudly. That was awesome. It was bigger than mine and you didn't use a staff. And did that look like one of your arts? How did you do that? Megaman said excitedly. I've been developing my own style of that explosion spell. I just needed to put my own magic into it and artistic mind to create it into my art. He said proudly. So if I make some kind of art in my explosion, I could make it greater. She concluded. Now you're starting to understand art. Deidara told her. Then I'll make an explosion magic art fitting for the Crimson Demons. Megaman exclaimed. Deidara summoned his bird and set Megaman on it. They flew back to the guild as they were finished destroying the castle. The next day, the 6 were in the guild discussing the previous activities they had done in the past days. Kazuma felt like he never wanted to train again as he couldn't move. What's wrong with you, Kazuma? Aqua asked. I was simply having him train his abilities. Sasori stated. You call that simple? It's so damn brutal. Kazuma exclaimed. Brutal? Darkness perked. It should give you some results later on. Sasori stated. Someone save me from this hell. I can't do anymore. He moaned. Sasori, seeing Kazuma broken down by your method of training, I can't allow it. So I must ask this, please train me instead. Darkness said seriously until she got excited at the end. I doubt you'll take it seriously. Besides, the training is already done for now. Sasori stated. Finally, Kazuma sighed in relief. It's about time to start another quest from the board. Sasori continued. Why? He whined. Good, I've been looking forward and testing out my art. Deidara grinned. I can't wait to use my explosions on monsters. Megumin said as she rubbed her face on the staff. Yes, we're getting a lot of money again. Aqua cheered. More strong monsters. Maybe these ones may cause us such vicious cruel acts to us. Darkness said, eagerly. Everyone was looking forward to a quest except for Kazuma. He felt that they're going to be the death of him one day. Though before they were about to choose a quest. Emergency! Emergency! All adventurers arm themselves at once. Gather at the front gate and prepare for battle. Luna called. If this is another festival, I'll pass on this emergency. Sasori responded. No, this isn't a festival, this is a serious matter. Luna exclaimed. Kazuma's party decided to head to the front gate as Deidara did the same. Sasori sighed and went with them to see what this was about. All of the adventurers were gathered outside in front of the main gate. Many of them were frightened as they witnessed one of the Demon King's generals present. He and his horse were headless and had full armor on. He was holding a helmet at his side. What's going on? Aqua asked. He looks really strong. Kazuma commented. What does he want? Deidara asked. I'm a general from the Demon King who moved into a nearby castle recently. He announced. That's a Dullahan? Darkness asked as he started tightening his helmet. Day after day, after day, after day. One of you screw-loose imbeciles comes to my castle and fires explosions at it. And now my castle's been obliterated and I want to know who's done it. Dullahan demanded as lighting struck behind him. Many of the adventurers were confused and wondered who's responsible. They looked at some mages as they looked accused. Megumin was nervous while Deidara was not intimidated by him. Megumin, Deidara, what did you two do? Kazuma demanded, quietly. You two brats were the cause of it, weren't you? Sasori said as he's not surprised. Megumin nodded nervously. Kazuma face-palmed at this. As if I'd let some Dullahan stop me from doing my art. Now I get to kill him before Itachi. Deidara said as he stepped up, approaching the general. That's all you care about? Kazuma exclaimed. Deidara, where are you going? Darkness asked. Megumin thought for a moment then decided to follow him as she's determined to fight beside him. Deidara stopped at a point where he was away from the crowd of adventurers with Megumin next to him. Was it you two? You're the imbeciles that's fire explosions every day then destroyed my castle. Do you know who I am? If you come to fight me, then do it fair and square. Dullahan exclaimed, angrily. This harassment cannot go unanswered. I left this town alone since there's nothing but weaklings here and this is how you repay me. By making my castle go boom, 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 until my castle is nothing but wreckage. What is wrong with you two? Dullahan shouted. Megumin was sweating nervously as she was intimidated by this rage. Are you done? Deidara replied, annoyed. Yes, yes I am. He said in an angry tone. Megumin stepped up and got in a stance. I am Megumin. I'm an archwizard who commands explosion magic. This is the great Deidara, an archwizard that can create powerful explosion magic. She announced. Dullahan just stared at them for a moment. What's a Megumin? What's a Deidara? Are you trying to fool me? He demanded. No. I'm a crimson demon and he's an artist. We're the greatest mages of this town. Firing explosion magic at you was our plan to lure you out here. We knew that you were a Demon King general and now you came to this city alone. Megumin explained. Deidara was not sure what she was trying to do but he decided to play along. Now that you come to us fool, we're going to destroy you with our art. Deidara said. The audience gasped as they watched the tension between them. When was this a strategy? Kazuma asked skeptically. Maybe Deidara is the greatest mage here but I can't say the same to Megumin. Darkness said. Shush. Keep it down here. They haven't used explosion magic yet and with all of the adventurers behind them to help chase him away. Aqua said. Except they'd only get in the way plus knowing my partner, he'll want to take him on alone. Sasori said. The three looked at him, surprised. What? Why? Doesn't he know what he's going up against? Aqua asked. The brat's ego usually gets the better of him. He wants to kill this Dullahan before Itachi does. Sasori stated. What's his problem with him? Kazuma asked, annoyed. He has some kind of rivalry against him and he's been trying to prove he's better than him. He answered. Doulahan stared at the two for a minute. I have no time to deal with weaklings here anyway. I'll be staying in what's left in that castle a little longer. Don't use your explosion magic on it again. Doulahan warned. Like I care what happens to your castle. I'll keep using my art in whatever place I want. Deidara said. What does art have to do with explosion magic? I don't see how that's art. Doulahan said. My point exactly. Sasori agreed. I don't expect some demon general to understand the beauty of art. Deidara said. I may be learning, but we crimson demons must use explosion magic once a day or we die. Megaman told him. Deidara thought similar, as he couldn't live a day without performing his art. What? I never heard anything like that. Stop telling lies. Doulahan exclaimed. You still going to blow up my wrecked castle? How about blow you up instead? Deidara taunted. I may have given myself to evil, but I was a knight. I've had no intention in slaying weaklings until today. He said. You just sealed your fate. My teacher can defeat you. Megaman said. I already planned on doing that. Deidara grinned. Do you believe some low-level mage can stand against an all-powerful? Wait, what are these things? Doulahan said as he noticed clay spiders attaching to him and his horse. Katsu. Deidara shouted. Ah, the Doulahan was blown off his horse as it got destroyed. That's the taste of my teacher's power you just took. Megaman taunted. That Doulahan was no match for my art. Deidara said proudly. Doulahan got back on his feet after the explosion. What, could you not be low-level? Wasn't the place supposed to be full of low-level adventurers? Doulahan asked. What, it didn't work? Megaman asked. Seemed to work to me. Kazuma said. No matter, that was just my C1 explosives. Deidara said. I warned you not to provoke me, but now I'll destroy everyone in this town. My minions will make short work of you. Doulahan exclaimed as he summoned undead with swords and armor. Go, my undead knights. Show them all a glimpse of hell. He commanded. Are you that much of a coward that you call for help? Deidara mocked. No, I'm no coward. You must defeat my soldiers before you fight the boss. Doulahan argued. Whatever, I'll just start with you. He said as he summoned a clay bird and it flew straight at Doulahan. Doulahan was about to raise his sword to attack the bird, but it impacted the ground and exploded. He got hit by the blast along with a few undead around it. Doulahan on the ground in pain as he sustained damage from the explosion. For some tough general, you can't stand my C1 art. He taunted. Doulahan got back on his feet. That's it, no more games. Destroy them all, my minions. Doulahan exclaimed. The undead army started to charge at Deidara. Like numbers are going to make a difference to my art. Deidara taunted as he was to about respond by getting his clay out. However, the army ran past him as they were charging at the group of adventurers, or most specifically, Aqua. Hey, don't ignore me, Deidara shouted. What? Doulahan said, confused. Aqua started to run as they were chasing her. Why are they going after me? I haven't done anything. A goddess shouldn't get treated this way. Aqua yelled as she was trying to get away from the undead. No fair. How come they're all chasing her and not me? Darkness complained. That's not what you should be going for. Sasori said, annoyed. It might be because she's a goddess that they're seeking salvation or something? Kazuma guessed. You're convinced she's goddess too? Is there something you're not telling me? He asked. Well, it's a long story. They were interrupted by the screams of Aqua as she was running towards them. Kazuma, Sasori, help me, she cried. All of the adventurers including Kazuma started to clear out of the way. Sasori remained still as he sighed. He summoned his cage puppet and got ready to fight off the undead. They're all yours, Sasori. Aqua shouted as she ran past him. As the undead army was approaching him, Sasori sent his puppet towards them by using his threads. He got its blades and buzz saw out, then quickly sliced through some of the undead in half. Though many of them still remain, he decided to use the puppet's abilities. Iron sand gathering, Sasori yelled. He formed the sand into long spikes and launched them to the undead horde. Many of them were hit by the spikes and fell into pieces. Sasori formed his sand into a big block to finish them off. He sent the block at the remaining incapacitated undead, then crushed them. As soon as the sand cleared, all of the undead were destroyed. Oh come on, why didn't you give them chance fight back? Darkness complained, who was standing beside him. Because I'm not a masochist like you. Sasori deadpanned. The adventurers cheered as they witnessed Sasori single-handedly defeated the Dullahan's army. He did it. I knew that Archwizard could. He's the best. Sasori turned his attention back to Deidara and Dullahan, wanting him to finish this up already. Deidara, who was watching the whole fight, looked back to the Dullahan. Looks like your army wasn't any help. Now it's just you. Deidara mocked. Dullahan laughed in response. How amusing, to think my minions would be destroyed so easily. Very well, time for me to step in, he said. Deidara smirked as he grabbed an amount of clay and spat them out of his hands, creating humanoid clay figures. Let's see how you handle this. Deidara said as his clay dolls ran towards Dullahan. So you can create soldiers as well, he replied as he threw his helmet in the air. The eye inside the helmet can see the fight below him, and fire-colored light began to appear behind it. Deidara was not impressed by it, though for some strange reason it felt the fire eye was saying, I see you. He already had enough people with eye abilities. The clay dolls attempted to swing its arms at him, but he simply dodged out of the way. Dullahan counterattacked by swinging his sword and attempt to cut them in half. But the sword did no damage to its body. What? He exclaimed as the clay dolls start to grab a hold on him and attach itself. The clay started to extend on Dullahan's body until covered. Deidara smirked as he started to detonate his clay dolls. The Dullahan screamed as his head reached back to his body and the clay exploded. Guess the so terrifying demon general is not so great after all. Deidara mocked. As the smoke cleared, Dullahan was on one knee, then started to get back on his feet again. The powerful General Beldia will not be defeated by some exploding crazy maniac, he declared. He can still stand after that? How strong is he? Megaman asked, shocked. Doesn't matter, I still have more tricks up my sleeve. Let's see how he'll stand up to my advanced art, Deidara said as he summoned his C2 dragon. What is that thing? Is that going to explode too? Beldia exclaimed. All of his magic spells explode as well as his art, Megaman proclaimed as Deidara rode on the dragon's head. And my art is superior, Deidara exclaimed proudly as the dragon spat out a mini-dragon at Beldia. Beldia dodged out of the way and charged towards Deidara. The mini-dragon, however, turned around directed at Beldia. He noticed it and put his in a defensive position. The mini-dragon exploded when it got close enough. Deidara's dragon started to fly up in air and above him. The smoke cleared as Beldia can withstand that explosion. Come down and fight me. Or are you that afraid that you'd keep yourself hiding in the air? Beldia mocked. I think not. After all, where you're standing now is about to become a crater. Deidara responded as his dragon was about to shoot out another mini-dragon. This one is a lot more bigger, so try to stand up to this, he exclaimed. The mini-dragon flew at Beldia at a rapid speed. You got to be kidding me, Beldia exclaimed as the mini-dragon impacted and sent off a large explosion in the area. And now for the grand finale, Deidara said as he flew higher and dropped a C3 bomb below him. When it reached the ground, it set off a massive explosion. Beldia screamed. No, don't make explosions that big, Kazuma shouted as he and many other adventurers were getting caught in the explosion. This feeling. It's irresistible, Darkness exclaimed, excited as she's getting hit by the blast. Beautiful, Megaman commented as she witnessed the whole scene. After the explosion, there was a big crater on the ground along with some broken walls at the city. As the smoke cleared, Beldia was on the ground, though his head was suddenly missing. Try to move after that. Wait, where did his head go? Must have blown it bits, Deidara said as he laughed at the end. Oh no, Beldia gasped as his head was away from his body. Kazuma stumbled upon it and grinned. Hey guys, ever heard of soccer? Kazuma called. Soccer? Beldia asked. It's about you kicking a ball around and can't use your hands, he explained as he kicked the head to one of the adventurers. The head landed to one of the adventurers and they started to kick the head to each other. They were enjoying themselves as Sasori was not amused as he wanted them to wrap this up. Either finish him off or I will, Sasori told them impatiently. They stopped and turned to Sasori as the head dropped to the ground. I'll do it, Aqua said as she got her staff out start to cast her spell that she learned recently. Sacred Turn Undead. She performed her spell on the Dullahan's head. No, Beldia screamed as he was erased from existence. The adventurers cheered in victory as the Demon King General was destroyed. They did it, we won, the town is saved, They're the best arch-wizards in the guild. We won without the help of Kiyoya and Itachi. Deidara twitched, irritated by hearing that name, though he could care less about the other name. I didn't think we would live through that. Glad that's over. Kazuma sighed in relief. He realized that Beldia's body was still on the crater. What should we do about the body? I'll take care of it. One more and it'll become art. Deidara said as his dragon landed and got off it. Can you let me? I haven't casted an explosion yet and I really want to use it. Megaman asked. Deidara thought for a moment as he wanted to finish it. He then decided to let her finish the job. Fine, I'll let you do it this once. It's already dead anyway. He replied. Yes. Now, my name is Megaman. I am a crimson demon that possess the most powerful magic, explosion magic. Now witness my power. Explosion. She chanted as she unleashed a powerful explosion on the Dullahan's body. Another explosion impacted as the adventurers kept their distance away from it. Talk about overkill. Do those two always have to be so trigger-happy? Kazuma commented as he watched the event. After the explosion, the armored body was in pieces and the sword was on the ground. That felt incredible, Megaman said as she collapsed to the ground. There's nothing left of him, now. Deidara said, proudly. I turned him into art, right? She asked. Correct, you're starting to catch on, but keep in mind that my art did most of the work. He said, can you please carry me? I can't move, Megaman asked. Deidara nodded by picking her up. The adventurers cheered once again as they celebrate the defeat of Beldia. Finally, Sasori said as they were done with this emergency quest. The adventurers head back to the guild and end the day. Finally, you're here, Kazuma. It's not fair. Darkness and Sasori won't let me drink. Megaman complained. You're not old enough yet. It's best to stay away from that filth anyway. Sasori replied. Hey Kazuma, can you explain to this guy why my powers as a goddess would triumph over his so-called art? Aqua asked while in a drunk state. She resumed drinking her cup. Don't listen this, wannabe goddess. Her magic is nowhere near compared to my art. I even took down a cage once. Deidara exclaimed in the same state. These two are drunk? Kazuma thought, annoyed. Sounds like we're missing a party here. A familiar voice said. Kazuma turned around and saw Itachi and Kisame entering the guild. Deidara noticed him and went towards him. Take that, you damn Uchiha. I managed to take down that demon general first. Now you'll have to acknowledge my art. Deidara ranted. Clearly, you're drunk, so talking to you would be pointless. Itachi stated. Go to hell, he exclaimed. Still, this town will be more peaceful now that the general has been taken care of. Well done, Itachi said. Kazuma, good, you're here. A female voice called. He noticed Luna approaching them. I have a reward for you and your party. She said. Really? Thanks, but why is it for us? Kazuma asked. Defeating a general gives you and your party a high reward for saving the town. It is quite an honor for you. Itachi stated. Well done, Kazuma. Your party is unstoppable. One of the adventurers cheered. He's a great leader. Another adventurer cheered. Kazuma smiled at the praise even though he hardly did anything to help. Hey, who said Kazuma was our leader? Deidara exclaimed. Yeah, if anyone, it should be me. I am a goddess, Aqua exclaimed, though they were both ignored by the adventurers as they were busy cheering Kazuma. Sasori didn't really care if he was seen as the leader or not. He preferred avoiding attention. Luna got their attention. In reward in your accomplishments, I reward you and your party 300 million aris. Luna said. 300 million? Kazuma's party and Deidara exclaimed. The adventurers cheered and encouraged him to buy drinks. Kazuma suddenly suggested an idea. Can you guys come over here? Kazuma called. The group head over to his side as some of them were curious. Listen, there's something we need to discuss. Now that we got enough money, I'm retiring from adventuring. I mean, I've had enough of it. He explained. Retiring? That's so lame. Why would you do that? Deidara asked. Because I can't handle any more this. He said. I don't like this either. How would I face strong opponents? Darkness asked. You don't, he replied. Kazuma, I joined you so I could defeat the Demon King and become the most powerful mage. Megaman said. You never will. Kazuma said. Don't be some shut-in neat. Aqua told him. I'm not a neat. He exclaimed. What's a neat? Deidara asked. You still need to get me back home. Aqua argued. Nope, already made up my mind. I don't want to die. Kazuma said. I didn't waste my time training you so you could leave. Sasori told him. Don't care, I can't take any more of this. He replied. Kazuma, may I ask you something? Itachi requested as couldn't help but listen in their party's conversation. Look, you're not talking me out of this either. He told him. Why is it that you became an adventurer? Itachi asked. Well, I've been trying to defeat the Demon King. Kazuma answered. Yet were you not aware of its dangers and risks when choosing this path? Itachi asked. I do now, but I might get killed before I even get close in killing the Demon King. He explained. Every dream and goal have its own risks, dangers and fears. If one wishes to accomplish their dream, he must overcome its obstacles in order to succeed. Itachi explained. Yes, but why is it that you wish to destroy the Demon King? He asked. At first I wanted to be some sort of hero in this place, but my stats suck and every quest I'm in nearly gets me killed. So now I just want to return to my home and I can't do it until I beat the Demon King. Kazuma explained. Is there a reason why you can't? Itachi asked, though he may have already figured out the reason. My home is too far away to travel and the only way to get back is to defeat Demon King. I even had an option to get some strong powerful weapon to make things easier, but all I got is some useless goddess. Kazuma explained. Hey, Aqua exclaimed. So he's from a different world. Though he's not from the shinobi world either. Itachi thought as he remembered when he chose to help this world. Flashback. Itachi's life ended when he released the Edo Tensei. He said his goodbyes to his younger brother Sasuke and had entrusted Naruto in convincing Sasuke to return to the village and stop Madara. He noticed he was in a dark but bright room. He was also in his Akatsuki cloak. He figured that it was the afterlife. Itachi, is that you? Someone asked. He turned and saw Kisame beside him. Kisame, I see that you've died as well and you no longer possess your sword. He replied. Kisame chuckled in response. It would be strange if Samahata went with me to death. But he betrayed me and is now with the Eight Tails Jinchuriki. I took my own life to prevent my enemy from getting any information. Kisame explained. So that's how Killer Bee possessed your sword. Itachi said. It's a shame really. I actually enjoyed our time together. But how did you know that? He asked. I was revived by Kabuto, who was using Edo Tensei along with Nagato, also known as Pain, and many other shinobi for war. But I managed to break free from control while fighting Naruto and Killer Bee. My brother and I managed to stop Kabuto and put an end to the Edo Tensei jutsu. Itachi explained. I see. You know Itachi, you were right. Kisame said. About what? He asked, curiously. When we first became partners, you said that we would discover our true self when we die. Kisame said. And what did you find? He asked. I was not a worthless being after all. In the end I fought for a cause I believed in. What is it that you find? Kisame asked. He smiled. I was unable to keep my lie any longer when facing my bother in my last moments. But when I came back, I was able to see him one more time and tell him the truth about what happened. Itachi explained. The truth? Were you also keeping something from me? He asked. Before he could respond, sorry to keep you waiting. A female voice said. They turned front and saw a girl with white hair. I am Eris, the goddess of fortune. Welcome to the afterlife, she introduced. I assume you're here to guide us to which place we would belong. Itachi said. He figured that he would be sent to hell since he massacred his clan and assisting the Akatsuki's goals. I've looked through your life, Itachi Uchiha. Yours was an incredibly sad one. Eris said as she felt pity for him. At a very young age, you were traumatized by war and wished to seek peace. You lost your team and later your best friend. You were ordered to kill your family. But you carried it out in order to protect your home and your brother. You were rouged from your village, yet you still wished to protect it. You had your brother set on a goal to kill, and so you sacrificed yourself so he wouldn't learn the truth. However, when you were revived, you ended the jutsu and free the souls. In the end, your efforts helped save the world. She explained. Do you know what happened to Sasuke? Itachi asked. Your younger brother wanted to change the world, but his friend defeated him and managed to convince him to return to his village, but he later left again to travel the world and wished to atone for his actions. Eris explained. I see. Then I have nothing more to worry about. He said as he smiled. He was glad that Naruto was able to save his younger brother from revenge. Normally, your crimes would be punishable, but you did not wish to commit these crimes. Your reasons behind it were also very noble despite these horrible actions. She said. From what I know about you, I believe I can give you the option to choose heaven and be at peace or be reincarnated in a new life, but your memories would be lost. Aris explained. Wow, to think your past was that rough, Itachi. Still, now you have a chance to start anew or enjoy peace like you wanted. Kisame said. He was right. Both options for Itachi seemed tempting for him. He had a chance to have peace or have a new life. However, he felt he could not choose either of those. Itachi could choose heaven, but he felt he did not deserve it after the lives he's taken, even though Aris offers it. As for being reincarnated, a new life would be an opportunity for him, but he did not want to forget his memories of his clan or Sasuke. Aris turned to Kisame. Unfortunately for you, Kisame Hoshigaki, due to your crimes of killing your men despite wanting to protect your village's secrets. You were also assisting a group that was planning to destroy the world. I'm afraid I cannot give you the same options. Aris explained. I figured as much, but I have no regrets though. It was nice to see Itachi one more time. Kisame said. I cannot deny that our reunion was pleasant. Itachi replied. He turned to Aris. As for my choices, I don't believe I could go with either one of the options I was given. Itachi said. I see, she said sadly, as she knew he hasn't fully forgiven himself yet. In that case, how about your third option? This goes to you as well, Kisame. Aris suggested. What is this third option? Itachi asked. Aris began to explain to them about the situation of the world in terror by the Demon King and what the world was about. She told them that they've been sending people there to stop the Demon King. So you wish to send us to this world of magic to defeat this Demon King and bring peace to that world? Itachi asked. Yes, would you be willing to help us in this? If you truly believe you haven't atoned for your sins, then this is your opportunity to redeem yourself. She said. Itachi looked down and thought for a moment until Kisame stepped in to encourage the option. I say you should do it. A goal in destroying a Demon King and bring peace to the world. It sounds fun, don't you think? I'll even come with to help achieve this goal. Kisame suggested. Itachi looked back up to Aris. Very well, we accept. He answered. She smiled in response. Good, I'm happy you made your choice. Oh, and you don't have to worry about the language and writing either. That will be translated to your minds. Aris said. He nodded. Before you leave, you will be given one item of any choosing. Rather, it is from your world or somewhere else. She explained. Sounds promising. I wonder, can I get my sword, Samahata? Kisame requested. He does miss his favorite sword. Of course. That should be no trouble. Aris answered, kindly. The sword wrapped in bandages was summoned. Samahata seemed confused. Good to see you again, Samahata. I'll explain things to you in a moment. I imagine the Eight Tails Jinchuriki must be looking for it right about now. Kisame said. Yo, bro, have you seen my sword? I thought I set him towards my collection of swords. I was looking forward to show him my song. Yeah, Killer B said. Don't ask me, I don't keep track of your mess. A replied. That was my favorite sword. Fool, ya fool, he said. Don't call me a fool. You, the fool that lost it. A shouted. Maybe I can ask. Killer B thought. I wouldn't know where he is either, B. I've been with you this whole time. Yuki told him through his mind. Maybe I left him where I last rap. I can't leave him to scrap. He said as he continued searching. Now that I think about it, I thought I saw him, but he suddenly disappeared. I could have just been seeing things though. Yuki thought. Samahata, where are you? Have rare songs for you. Killer B sang. This is going to be a long day. Yuki sighed. What about you, Itachi? Aris asked. Itachi thought for a minute about what could be helpful for him. Is there a way to prevent my Mangekyo Sharingan from ruining my sight? Itachi asked. Yes, but don't you already know how to obtain it? Aris asked. The eternal Mangekyo Sharingan requires one of my family members' eyes, and I do not wish to do that. He explained. In that case, how about I make those eyes of yours the eternal ones? She suggested. You can do that? Itachi asked. Of course, it shouldn't be too hard. Aris answered, kindly. Suddenly, Itachi's eyes started to change. Thank you, Goddess Aris. He said. She smiled in response. Let it help you in your journey. Aris said. 2 barriers surrounded the 2 Akatsuki members. Kisame got confused as Itachi stayed calmed. Itachi Uchiha, Kisame Hoshigaki, I wish you 2 luck on redeeming yourselves. If you succeed, you'll be granted a wish as your reward. She said. Soon later, the 2 left and entered the same world where the artists are. Flashback ends. Itachi remembered meeting Chris later on and the three started a party together. If I got myself some stronger weapon or an awesome magic power, then I might have had an easier time doing quests and maybe beat the Demon King. Kazuma said to himself. Maybe so, but you may also forget the things that are important to you. Itachi said. What do you mean? Kazuma asked. If you were to grow strong too quickly and tried to do it alone, you will become arrogant. No matter how strong you will become, you will fail if you rely too much on your own strength. He explained. Are you saying I have a better chance at succeeding? Kazuma asked, confused. There was once a boy who was considered to have the worst skills and was a poor fighter. He was also shunned by many people. But he did not give up. In time, he started growing stronger and overcome his hardships, but not only because of his abilities, but it was his bonds of others that had made him stronger and they believed in him. However, should you grow strong, do not bear this whole thing alone. Your party will be there to assist you in it. Itachi explained. Wow, that's really deep. Is that why you chose the adventurer class? He asked. Not exactly. As I told you before, the adventure class works best for my abilities. Itachi answered. Sorry, I forgot to bring this up Kazuma, but since Deidara's explosions greatly destroyed our walls, can you help pay for the damages? Of course, the demon general was defeated, which is a good thing, so we can't ask you to pay for all of it, but can you please pay a portion of it? Luna asked, showing him the required amount to pay. He took it and examined it. What? Kazuma exclaimed as he's shocked. Wow, all that money gained but then immediately lost. I know a certain someone would be pissed if he was with you. Kisame said. So much for that reward. No matter, we can earn more money through quests. Now you can't leave, Sasori told him. Why? Kazuma complained. Deidara, this is your fault. We were going to be rich but you blew that all away. Aqua shouted. Shut up. I was simply giving these people a great show of art. So what if we have to pay a little money? Deidara exclaimed. A little money? That was 300 million aris, you obsessed explosion nut. That stupid art of yours cost us a lot of money. She exclaimed. Don't you go insulting my art. He exclaimed. The group watched the two argue again until Itachi turned back to Kazuma. Why don't you think about what I told you in the meantime? Then you can decide what you want to accomplish. Itachi said as he began to leave the group. Have fun paying the damages. Kisame grinned as he left with Itachi. Our reward may be gone plus even a bit more. But now we can continue our quest. Darkness said in confidence. Our adventure of magic and explosions continues. Megaman said, seriously. Guess you can't retire. Good, because I didn't want that training to be for nothing. But, since I decided to be nice today, I'll let you pick the next one tomorrow. Sasori said. And of course we'll split the reward. As long as Deidara doesn't blow it up. Aqua said as she glared at him. I'll blow up whatever I feel like. The world has to know true fleeting art. Deidara said to her. Kazuma groaned as he was still stuck on his quest to slay Demon King. He thought about Itachi's advice though. Maybe he will get stronger a lot later on if he sticks with his party. On the other hand, he doubts it since most of his party members are idiots. Kazuma and the party paid for the damages and start back to square one. He hopes that the next quest won't be hard or meaningless.
That's all for now. If you enjoy this video, then please like, share and do comments.